So thanks, James. And yeah, exactly. A lot of people do say that anything in Vancouver is not going to cash flow well. We have definitely come up with a creative solution for that. And I do want to share that with you guys. So it is about corporate furnished rentals. I'm just going to share my screen with you guys and go through what that means. So corporate rentals, what are they? Well, executive furnished monthly rentals is more than just having like a furnished rental and then renting it out on a month-to-month basis, similar to Airbnb. It's going more so business to business. So instead of having it, company to person, we're going to be doing more of a business to business model. So what does that mean? Well, it has to be a minimum of 30 days that the occupant, and I'm going to get to that in just a little bit, is going to be in the actual property itself. It's going to be fully serviced. It includes housekeeping as well. So it's one of those really more prestigious style of rentals. So everything is included. You go in, I mean, not all the food, but you go in and you have your housekeeping on a daily basis. You're going to have the fresh linens that are there. So it's a really nice curb appeal. And it does attract a certain type of A or B tenant profile as well. So you know that your home is going to be taken care of. And like I had said before, it's business to business model. So it's nice because as opposed to having a tenant in there, you're going to be leasing it out to the company, and then the company will have an occupant in there. So how that differs is that basically the occupants are authorized to reside in the property with the landlord's permission. They would be signing off on that, and then the company would be able to have unobstructed access to the unit and are responsible for the occupant. I'm going to repeat that again. The company, the executive furnished rental company, is going to be responsible for the occupant that's in there. So that's fantastic. I don't know if any of you have had rental properties and maybe had some concerns with any of your tenants before. So this is wonderful opportunity for those who want a real hands-free type of investment. Basically, the only things that you're going to need to pay for are the mortgage, insurance, condo fees, and property taxes. As well, you do a 50-50 split for a full deep clean, but the housekeeping on a day-to-day basis, you don't need to worry about. It's one of those things that you kind of like sign the paper, you give the keys, and you can just like go on with your day. I love it. My clients love it, and it's performing really well. Where? So the next question is, okay, Alexis, sounds all fine and dandy, but where would we get this type of an investment? So we're really going on strategy. I'm going to open up in just a little bit in the map area. So for those of you who are in Vancouver, you're a little bit more familiar, but for those of you who are in Canada or maybe thinking about investing in BC, I'm going to open up the map and I'll be able to show you guys around. We want to make sure that it's going to be close to major amenities, transit, any kinds of attraction centers, things that are going to draw people, tourists to Vancouver, because it's a highly tourist industry here. So anybody who's going to be coming here for that, or also close to where they'd be working, because this is going to be a corporate style executive suite. A lot of them are going to be coming from like Amazon, Microsoft, all of which are downtown, kind of in the downtown sector. So the strategy that I've been using for my clients, and it's been performing really well, is to kind of hit that downtown core. We can still go outside of the downtown core in areas that are going to be like Langley, Surrey, the outskirts. And those are going to most likely be more of the 2 or 3 bedrooms instead of the 1 to 2 bedrooms. But you probably want to know, what's the cost? So all in all, if we are looking at just kind of a lump sum with the corporations that we've aligned ourselves with at the Mogul team here, as opposed to having to pay for the phone, cable, high-speed internet, what we have done was have it as a lump sum, and it's $120 a month. So then that way it's just taken care of. You don't need to worry about any added costs, any extra expenses. If the occupant pays or essentially gets more, then they're going to have to pay for that. But as the owner, you don't need to. And the pricing. So here in the downtown Vancouver area, for average for a 1 bedroom, you're going to be looking at around $4,500 per month. I know to all of you Edmontonians, you're like, what? This sounds crazy. And it is, but that's what they're renting out for, especially if you want to have that more high-end service. So I'm going to get to this in our next slide as well. We're going to go through the actual numbers and kind of crunch the numbers as well. But what the particular company that we've aligned ourselves with, it does have a pretty high property management fee of 30%. And that is calculated in the pro forma that I'm going to be going through with you guys. For a 2-bedroom, believe it or not, they're going for about $6,000 right now. And after the 30% property management fee, you're looking at $4,200 per month. You can also get extra for parking. So that doesn't include parking itself. It does include the high-speed internet, the cable. And for executive rentals, you actually need to have a landline. It's part of the deal. So you do have to have that, but it's in for the $120 per month. But yeah, so the parking is $150 per month, less the 30% for the property management. So that's going to come out to an extra $90 per month. And yeah, basically furnishing it in the very beginning. So there is going to be high cost in the very beginning because you want to get it nicely furnished. And something that's pretty cool about this particular type of an investment is that it's not necessarily the view or the size of the property, it's how well is the design and where exactly is the location. So that's really the critical moments. Here at the Mogul team, we're going to set you up for success. So just because it's going to be fitting for this one style of investment, we want to set you up for success in the event that you decided to rent it out or that we ever needed to sell it. So yeah, that's going to be about that $7,000 to $12,000 in the beginning to just kind of get it furnished really nicely in there. And then also housekeeping, as I had mentioned before, it is covered by the property management group. However, there is a move in, move out, full deep clean, especially now with COVID. And you split the cost with the property management group of 50-50, which I've also added into the pro forma for you. Yeah, so that's about everything there. Now I'm just going to go through the actual how we would look for the properties. So I'm going to share the screen and you're going to see the lovely map of Vancouver. So this is what we see every day here in Vancouver. But for those of you who are not from here, I'll explain a little bit for you. So Vancouver downtown core is kind of where we focus here at Mogul in this area right here. However, there are other areas that you can go into. Burnaby, we have Brentwood area, which is just up north there. Port Moody is another actually interesting location right now, which can be quite lucrative. And we'd be looking more for the 2 bedrooms out there, Coquitlam as well. And then there is going to be a sky train going from Surrey over to Langley. So that's another hot spot as well, which, you know, we can definitely explore. But I'm going to focus in on and then North Vancouver. Yeah, everybody wants to be in there too. So that's a great spot, which we have focused on, West Vancouver. Now, for today's sake, I'm going to focus more in on the actual downtown Vancouver area, and more particularly either Yaletown, Coal Harbor, just downtown itself. You want to make sure that the property is going to be close to things like I had mentioned before, transit, also any type of attractions. So you know, we have BC Place. There's a lot of different kind of amenities. There's beaches. There's so much cool stuff down here to do. It's amazing. So we want to situate you for success to find an area that's going to be really close to those key features. So I'm just going to scroll into this particular area. It's a little bit of a lag. But here you can kind of see how many that there are. And then I'm going to, so that's how I would basically draw it. And then I do have one that is already up right here. So this one's going to be on Granville Street. And if you can just give me a thumbs up somehow to let me know that you're able to view this right now. It says, okay, perfect. So it's 610 Granville Street, and this is at the Hudson. So the reason why I chose this particular condominium building is because of all the reasons that I'd already mentioned before. So super easy access for transit. It does have parking at this particular condo building. It has a gym, it has amenities. That's what a lot of people look for here. Another really important key feature, which I'm gonna zone in on right here, is not only the open concept, it has a nice little island space there. So you may or may not want to actually have a full dining table there. You can create a little bit more space because you do have that that island space, and you can have just people up at the bar area. And then another really cool feature is that it has a designated area for your business area. So it's right here. So that's another really key feature that I like to target for a lot of my investors, because this is going to be corporate rentals. Most of the time they're coming here for work. So it's nice to have that, not only nice open layout, a lot of, space, have that kind of bar style in the center, so that instead of having a full dining table, you have enough space to be able to go up to the bar. But I think this is also super key. They don't care so much about storage. That's not something that's really necessarily, especially for this style of an investment, but it is really important to have at least an area in the condo so that you can have that area for business setup, because this is going to be for a corporate executive rental. So really what we're looking for is going to be a more generic open layout that kind of clicks all the boxes that we had discussed already in a very ideal location. We also want to make sure that there's a Form J, and that also the building isn't going to be abundantly old. So we're not going to be looking for buildings that are going to be more than like 25 years old. We want to make sure that it's going to have a nice curb appeal to it, easy access as well. So kind of running the numbers, we can see that this particular unit is going right now, by the way, this is available for $619,900. This one isn't too far away. I literally just, I have a client who is having a furnished rental in this particular building. It's called the Hudson. It's a phenomenal building, and it's performing really well. For the last month, it was rented out for $4,200, and that's kind of what I'm running my numbers off of, as well another sample set of investors as well. So this one is a 1-bedroom. Like I had mentioned before, you can do 1-bedroom. You can do 2-bedroom as well. You're going to get quite a bit more for 2-bedroom in the downtown core. If you don't have that much capital, or you don't want to invest too much, like maybe $600,000-700,000, I would say 1-bedroom performs really, really well. And I'm just going to show you what these numbers look like. Oh, and by the way, there is an open house this Saturday. So if anybody's interested, just saying, I know that this one performs well. So I'm going to open up the pro forma. So pro forma is the same spreadsheet that Dream was showing you guys earlier. Can you give me a thumbs up if you can see that, please? You cannot see the spreadsheet? Okay, just give me 1 second. Can you see the spreadsheet now? Can someone give me? Okay, thanks guys. Okay, so what I've done was created this pro forma for you guys to view, and we're going to play around with the numbers a little bit. I've made the numbers for this particular pro forma very conservative, given that equity gains here are quite high. And especially if you are looking at patterns in particular communities, it can shift and change from one community to another, as you probably know in most areas. So $619,900, down payment 20%, legal fees. So this is going to be all closing costs I've included. It's not just the legal. So closing costs, as you know, here in Vancouver, we do have property transfer tax. So I've added that in there. So we do have 11,500, inspection 500, and then for the contingency in here, it not only includes contingency or an extra reserve, but I've also put in a whopping $12,000 for furnishings. So, I mean, it might be 5,000, it might be 10,000. It depends if you're going for a 1 or 2 bedroom. It depends on the layout. It depends if you want to have that dining table. Depends on a lot of different things, what kind of building that we're going to be going into. So to be conservative, ultra conservative, I put in $12,000 in there. I put the rate right now at, 2.5, amortization over 30 years, and 5-year fixed. So because we do have a parking stall, we're actually able to separate that from what we'd be renting it out monthly. And then also and here I labeled it garage, but it's basically just a parking stall that you'd be able to rent it out for an extra $150. And the unit itself for $4,500. So taxes on this, I took it directly from the MLS listing. So that's going to be broken down. We're just going to go monthly, so that you can conceptualize that a little bit better. 151, condo fees 232, insurance 207, utilities 170. So I added the $50 just on average for the house cleaning, that you have to do the full deep clean whenever there's a move in or move out. And then also the condo fees itself of 120. And then the management fees. So this is, it's 30%, but it is one of those turnkey. You don't have to worry about it. They deal with it all. You basically sign the lease with the company and then they just take care of the rest of it. So there's definite advantages to that. If for those of you who want to be a little bit more hands-on, try to align yourself with some corporations, get in touch with, different kind of companies and think that you can take that on, we can play with the numbers and see what that looks like also. Vacancy, I put in for 2%, repairs 5%. I mean, it's a condo, so we don't need to put in an over exuberant amount for repairs, or even have much of a reserve as well. Mortgage on that one, just shy of $2,000 per month. And then, so as you can see, people, we have a cash flow positive situation on our hands here downtown Vancouver of 210. If you do decide to add in that reserve, you would make a whopping $535 per month. And that's also being very conservative. So yeah, just to kind of take it back a step, I did put in the market growth for 6% here in Vancouver. Cole Harbour area was 11% last year. We could put it probably at about 8%, but like I said, I wanted to be conservative with my numbers initially to be able to show you guys what kind of a return that you could be looking at with this particular type of investment. So over a 5-year, you're going to have a cumulative equity gain of just shy of 270,000. Your cumulative ROI is 231%, and average annual ROI is 46.29%. So for those of you who think that you can't have any kind of cash flow opportunities here in Vancouver, I think I'm probably going to be jumping on one of these soon. I know that we're kind of running out of time. I just quickly wanted to run the numbers. If we were to, let's say, market appreciation, let's say that we're just to say, we'd put it at that 8%. And then also, if you didn't want to get an actual property manager in there and you wanted to just try to do this on your own, I'm going to put that in as a 0 just to play with the numbers to see what that would look like. So obviously the first go round, very, very conservative, but this is if you were one of those hands-on investors and you wanted to align yourself with certain corporations, this is what it would look like. So the cash flow per month is going to be just shy of $2,000. And over a 5-year, cumulative equity gains, you're going to be looking at 350,311, ROI 367%, and then average annual ROI is 73.45%. Not too shabby. But like I said, that's definitely going to be for the more hands-on investors.